Hello. Mr. Cher will be here in a minute. I don't know what he's doing in there. I think I hear that documentary. Hey, Tammy. Hey, Love Rains, Kathleen, Rosebud, Archie. Here he is.
Hey,
My love.
Joe.
Yeah. Scorpion Lady, Patricia, Stephanie, Tammy Ayo. Hey, Sean's Queen, Aussie True Crime, Harriet, Christine Lynch. Hey, girl, we got your emails. Hey, Kimberly. And Dana. What the hell's this about? Hey, Mandy. Hey, Catalin. Betty. Smelly Recliner. Mr. and Mrs. Archie.
No. Cause I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me. Cher will be right back after these messages.
Okay. Hey, Mia. Hey, Emma. Hey, Hope for Peace. Kathleen. Janessa. Casey. Shaylee. All right. Okay. So, tonight, we're gonna go with blocking immediately only on people who come in straight away nasty about Christa and the Watts family. Anyone that's just gonna come in here and say nastiness about them can just go. Because I don't think that they should have to see that any more than they already do, and they do listen and watch. So I'd like that just gone so that they don't have to see that here on this platform.
Yep, there you go.
But if people are coming in and they're just, I don't know, not coming from a bad place, but still not really maybe agreeing with everything, we don't have to block them, but just, I mean, the people coming in straight away, they have an agenda to just be nasty with these people. They got to go.
Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've seen some nasty stuff already today. Krista has sent me since the airing of that on Lifetime, and it's not good. There's already people putting around videos, and that documentary didn't really make her look good at all. But she has sent me screenshots and things, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I have been shown things of what production and people were telling her and how they changed things on her. So I have actually got to see the games that they played with her in just her filming alone. You guys, they filmed for she said like 16 to 18 hours with her. And you saw very, very little of her, and it was only parts that went, they kind of made her look bad.
Mm.
Like she was just a groupie out to go and get a hold of Chris, and yeah, it was just a mess. But we'll get into that a little later. But I've seen nasty stuff already. She's shown me some things. I looked around, and it's just not good. And I talked to Ronnie today on the phone and in text messages, and he and Cindy hadn't even seen the documentary until this morning. It was afternoon for them, but morning for us here. And I was like, you might want to watch it. So they did. And yeah, I don't think they were too happy with how that went either, especially with a certain wannabe author saying ridiculous things like, what'd she say? Chris told her he used to daydream months and months in advance. Anytime that him and Shanann had a fight, he would daydream about hurting her and murdering her, like just stupid things. That documentary was nothing new, nothing that we haven't all heard before. It definitely was highly favorable of Cheryln Cadle and her narrative. which is what the narrative of what everyone else seems to want. They did. They really, really, they really, really, really did. And I would love to show the screenshot from production to Christa, but I'm not going to do that right now. I didn't ask her if that was okay, but she sent them to me, and it's very clear games that they were playing with her, which is, we all know what the media does.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't even finish it. I gotta leave and come back, baby.
No. Yeah, so did anyone else think that the narrator was just overly dramatic about everything? I just found that absolutely hilarious. I can't even get into it because everything the narrator says is just, it's just ridiculous. If she does that for every one of those true crime or the cellmates, the series, she needs to be fired.
You want a refund? Yeah, I would not want to pay to see that. We almost did, though. We were looking for anything that we could stream it with in Canada. And it's not, Cooter, you're not missing anything. You're really not missing much anything. And one thing, you guys, that I want to say while I am remembering this, but have you guys ever noticed that when it comes time for Mr. Dylan Tallman to speak about Chris and, like, well, what did Chris tell you really about the event or the crime or murders or whatever you want to call it? He really doesn't say much. It's like in that thing, it was, no, I don't really want to go there. I can't. In According to Ronnie and Cindy, Chris has never talked to Dylan about that really, which I find interesting. So either Chris hasn't told his parents, maybe that is, but I don't, from the sounds of it, the Watts family is under the impression they didn't really talk about the crime like that it was like Bible verses. It was all about their walk in faith together and being brothers in Christ, or whatever Dylan says they were. Yeah, me too. Mama Kim has it on her Facebook page. A True Crime Book Club. Yeah, but you're really not missing anything. It basically went back to the same narrative. They they had a little snippet with Armchair Detective in there, which I think is great. I'm just gonna say it. I think everybody lost by wanting to take Alan down when I just saw him on Entertainment Tonight. Okay, so I'm just epic fail for all of you guys who were trying to bring him down, because now all that did was more and more people are gonna find, who is this Armchair Detective?
Mm-hmm.
It makes me laugh. I mean,
They keep
not
trying
to
to
say
bring
it
him
wasn't
down, but he
bad.
just keeps on blowing up.
Yeah. It was the same old BS. Yes, absolutely agree with that. And then Cheryln Cadle adding new little tidbits here and there that, makes her sound like she is Little Miss Know-It-All. Just pathetic. Oh, Kelly Crime Check in here. Hey, Eric. Hey, Panda Bear. No, yeah, if you look at the thing, it says Entertainment Tonight, and then it has Alan on there, so I don't know if they had a piece on him or what, but that's what I seen. I'll share a screenshot of it on my community post later. Yeah, and exactly, and people are forgetting that there's like real humans and emotions and feelings that are getting trampled on just for everybody to get a pocket full of money, I guess, if you will. Like, they're forgetting that Cindy Watts is a human. She lost as well. Ronnie Watts is a human. He lost as well. And people are just like, screw them. I see dollar signs and they don't care. Hey, West Haven. Like they were in touch. longer and possibly might be in touch again. Oh, I'll tell you right now, absolutely, they are not in touch. They have not been in touch again, and they will, I don't want to say never, but like in my conversations currently, like up to like as in today, Cheryln Cadle isn't somebody that they would speak to again or ever have behind them again. No, she can keep wishing for that. And I'll make sure that if we all know exactly what family in any prison that she's trying to get behind, that I reach out to them and their family and make sure that doesn't happen again. Oh, yes. I thought she had a book coming out like 2 years ago with the guy who the I Don't F with Cats documentary, Luca Magnotta. Where's that book at? Just saying. Oh, that's right. Me and Tanya wrote him and said, "Do not work with Cheryln Cadle." Whoops. They made it all about Cadle and Dylan, not about Chris. Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. And I don't know how you all feel about Dylan Tallman, but I don't trust him at all. I seen some things today and was told some things today that he actually tried to sell Chris out already before he even got out of prison. He wanted to sell 2 different things at 10 grand a piece. So I already don't trust him, and I promised the Watts that I'd be watching everything he does all around social media like a hawk. And I will. And I have been. Yeah, you can tell, like I said, they highly favored Cheryln Cadle for sure in this, so just disgusting. Yes, I agree with that. Yes, I agree with that. I mean, I can vouch that he is in current contact with the Watts, but I can also promise you I have told the Watts to be on guard with everybody, with everyone, including people that are coming back or trying to come back in their life. Even KK, I said, keep your guard up. Just be careful, And I think they are really like on high guard right now. Poor Cindy, she was like, I can't even keep up with this anymore. Like, I can't. Just like nothing at this point surprises that family, but they keep getting hurt, and it's very sad to see. Like, this is all dredged up again because of a stupid documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, listening to her, because I hear the words coming out of her mouth much different because I've had personal dealings with Cece. I guess I'll just keep calling her that because I don't know if can she flag me for saying Cheryln Cadle? I don't know. But I've had personal dealings with her, some of you know. So I just don't like her. David, Dylan, and Dollars, Christy, Cheryln, and Cash. If you mean Christa, who is on the documentary, no, I don't think that she's in it for that because I have seen evidence where she absolutely could have already sold some things, and she hasn't. I don't care if she's talked to a couple tabloids or she's been on YouTube channels or whatever. It's always been with good intentions and really trying. She's done what I would have done in backing. She doesn't believe that Chris Watts did this all on his own. And to be honest, the Watts are so confused from all of these people running to them, and you can't judge them for, well, why do they get behind YouTubers or whatever? What they're doing is getting behind people that come to them and say, we can help you. And they're very vulnerable. And anyone with a family member in prison, especially a lifer, is going to try and get any help that they can. They don't care who it comes from. If they think, oh, this person's going to help me, or this person's going to at least keep talking about this and it won't be quiet, they're going to jump on that. And that's why I think that 99% of the people who have gone to these families do not have good intentions at their heart, from YouTubers and on. Maybe some of them do, but it seems like they flip instantly when there's a problem and go against. To me, that means you didn't have good intentions all along. If you can that quickly flip and want to like do damage even more to this family. What was supposed to happen months ago? Can't Cadle even write a decent shopping list? Yeah, so that's why I couldn't hear you, babe. All my volume went down again.
Oh.
Yeah, Helen, they're just very vulnerable, and they're very, very nice family. Jamie, Ronnie, Cindy, they're very, very nice and very, very trusting. And so I think that honestly that they've just, from the start of it, if you think about it, Cheryln got to the family about 90 days after the crime happened. And well, we hear Kim Kaufman even say she was there right at the beginning. Like, all of these people jumped right on it almost instantly from seeing the news, him on the news that day. And they didn't have time to mourn. They didn't have time to even process because they already had the vultures and leeches on them, to the point where they can't exactly get closure right now because they have just as many questions and wonders and doubts and all of these things in their mind that we all have.
Yeah.
I haven't been following that Cougar Brown, but I've seen a lot about it, but I haven't really watched anything. There's no guideline how to teach folks how to deal with something like this. Maybe PR people are too hard on people, in my opinion. That's funny because I kind of feel almost like I act like PR for them. Like Christa, like, avoid this, avoid that. I'm, just looking out for them because we all know what people say about, certain things or how it'll make them look if they do this or that. And so I always just tell them, as well as reminding them, trust your gut. If you feel like maybe I shouldn't trust this person, even because they've been screwed over so much, I'm just like, just go with that gut feeling first. Like, if you don't want to talk to me, you don't trust me, and that's your gut instinct, don't talk to me or anybody else. If you have a gut instinct that this isn't right, this person might do me wrong, follow that instinct. Hey, Popples. Hey, Betty Burt.
That's a good point, Eric. Things are as far as they can go legally, then why do people keep going at them? Yeah, it's like people won't, like, nothing. I don't think there's ever going to be anything different happen with this case ever.
I
But
think,
a lot of people don't like, the outcome doesn't sit well with them, so they're hanging around for something new. But there are people who are, I don't know, giving false hope to the family, saying we're going to get some kind of change happening, and I just don't see that. Like, there's no way a YouTuber's going to do it. A
mm-hmm.
lawyer maybe, but like YouTubers, we can't control court proceedings. We can't change the law. We have no power to do that. We're just entertainers.
Yeah, and with me, I'm not making the family these promises, you guys. It's always been about getting to know them and being able to, because here's the thing, when KK was backing them and having them on, or Lana, or all of these people, I kept muting more than what they were giving. I felt like, well, KK and I both support the Watts. I just felt like, well, I didn't, and I've told her this. She knows this. If she's listening, she knows, like, I didn't agree because it's exactly what I told her. Like, we were always like for the same thing, just on different tracks. How she did it is not how I would go about it, and she could probably say the exact same thing about me. Chair, did you see my question? I did not. Please retype your question, and I'll look for it this time. Sorry, but Yeah. Yeah, Panda Bear. But alls I tell them, like, I just want to help get the truth out there. So when we're hearing these wrong things, and there's been so much already that I have learned, such as like, oh, you know, they're so distant from their grandchildren, or they were, I've even told Mr. Share that 100 times. Well, they had no bonds with those kids. Like they had no attachment to them, it seems like. But getting to know them, we've got to not only hear, but see with our own eyes that that's not true. Hey, Mandy. Hey, Amy. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Monica. Yep, we are doing well. Right, the letters from Christopher I read free on a site. Yeah, I would never pay for that book, you guys, ever. But yeah, so that's all I've been telling them is just that I am not like I definitely can't go take them to court or whatever, but if they wanted an attorney, I could probably help them find one pro bono. I mean, I'm good at all that. Can I email you some clues for you to check are not lies? They may help the family. You can always email me. Yes, absolutely. And I did forward earlier emails from you, by the way, to the family. So thank you for that. They do appreciate that because we were already on exactly what you wrote me. We were already on that very same track, my friend. Hasn't Chris Watts told his family the truth? E.g., he did it. Why don't they believe him? Has he told them different since, or just others talking to Watts theories? Here's the thing, KS. Their exact words to me is that Cindy's words, I know my kids. Like, he wouldn't do that. Like, she really, really has set in her heart, in her mind, and her soul that her son would not do that without somebody giving direction on it. Because I even said to her, from what I've seen and experienced from the start of this, I honestly don't think that he would have done it. Just that would have been his own idea. And Cindy agrees, like, no, absolutely not. Like, no. So, I think that's really in their heart. And then you have all these people putting all this thing like, I can help him, he didn't do that, or we use this, we use that, and they're going with that. Again, they didn't have the proper time to mourn or even process anything. This family has been thrown into the black hole like the rest of us. Okay, Christine, sounds good. I'll check it after. I try. I'm not quick at it because I get a lot, but I do try to get to them as quick as possible.
Yeah, definitely don't expect her to be replying to emails and shit while she's streaming. But she spends a lot of her day on the phone, so she's always talking and replying to messages and stuff.
Cindy Watts is correct, and unfortunately, nothing will bring out the truth, especially with people she has helping. I think the truth is already out there. We all just think it's lies. The truth has been said at some point, and I feel like it's already been said, and we all just, well, he's a liar. We're just not listening. But I wanted to really do this live because watching that documentary, like, it made me feel like when the movie had come out, what I was feeling, and actually what I started feeling more towards the beginning kind of this was nothing really like makes sense, and everything kind of contradicts it. Like, so Chris Watts killed his daughters, but he killed Shanann because he was never going to see his kids again. Does that make sense? So he killed his wife and kids because Shanann said he would never see his daughters again. So he was like, let me kill. And they say, because this is one of the things he says, honestly, Chris just is so impressionable. I think he really just tells everyone. I think he honestly is having a little bit of fun with it. That's what I'm kind of thinking after the recent documentary this weekend. I think he does have a little bit of fun with it. What else does he have to do? But I think he's actually just, all of these people have already gone to him with already their narrative of how it goes in their mind. And all he's doing is telling them what they want to hear.
Yeah.
So.
And wanting the truth, it's kind of a hard thing, because nobody's going to accept something as the truth unless it's what they think happened. Like, how do you know Chris just killed everybody? How do you know that's not the truth? Like, there's no way to know. So we may already have the truth.
Yes,
or it could
I
have been
believe the truth is out there. Mm-hmm.
There's no way to know. And no one will believe it's true unless it's a story that they think is true.
You think the families will ever come together, Watts and the Ruziks? Well, Alexis, I don't think that that's something that can ever be fully fixed, no. But if you think that there's this somehow good, evil Watts versus Ruziks behind the scenes, as of up until recently, when I've seen Junior saying some nasty things, I would disagree, because okay, what I will say is I believe that the two men, head of households, Ronnie and Frank Sr., they are very cordial with each other. Ronnie and Cindy will reach out and let them know, hey, I'm thinking of you on this day, and things like that. And they do. They have a couple times a year a phone call between the two gentlemen there. And it doesn't seem to me like there is this Watts versus Ruziks between on the outside, as there is. I think we have all done that to them.
Yeah. We're the ones at war. They aren't. Like, they aren't doing anything in real life. It's just all, the whole thing is just online.
Chris isn't speaking on anything. He's maybe said a couple of things. Right, Ali. That's what I've always wondered, Cher. Are these women playing Chris, or is he playing them? I'm going to be honest with you. A little of both. I think Chris knows that too when they go in there, because it's clear, because they either write and they right away say, hey, this is what I think, or whatever, let him write back to me. I'm just going to say this or that. And then he goes along with that. There's even times where he questions these people. Well, isn't this or this in the discovery? Like, he doesn't even know. He's literally going off of what KK or Lana or Anna or all of these people have put in his head, to the point where he's just like, well, isn't this true? Well, what about this? And to the point where he's just telling these people what it is they want to hear. He knows. I think that all players involved are playing each other. And if you ask me, if they're going in with that already being their agenda, kudos to Chris.
Mm.
I think it's funny, because they're going in there with an agenda, and he's just telling them what they want to hear, and then they go out and they run with it, and they sound like dumbasses.
Yep.
Sorry, what to say, Barbara Roberts. I was dyslexic for a minute. I think that could be, but I also think that he actually is, because trauma. I do think that he was a battered man, so I think there's trauma. I think then the trauma of this, did he snap and do this all? Did he? Because there is one thing Dylan Tallman will say is he refers to it as the tragedy. He always has himself distance kind of from the tragedy that happened. You mean you killed your family, right? That's what we're all screaming at the screens. What do you mean tragedy? You murdered your family. Like, you could have saved that from being a tragedy. But he speaks about August 13th as if it was some kind of event that he really didn't have control over. Hey, Mary. Yeah, we don't have to talk about that creator, but I do not like one bit what she says. I find it interesting that she has also flip-flop, because I think you all remember a time where she didn't think he was always all the way guilty. She did question it to, go roll back about a year and a half now, and what family gets behind them, and boom, flip-flopper, little Miss Kitchen flip-flopper. But we'll leave it at that, because some people like her, and I'm not a fan, and we'll leave it at that until she comes out with the next thing that I'll have to combat, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Chris has to do whatever he has to survive mentally and physically, okay, that's true, Eric. And that reminds me of actually the time frame that Cheryln Cadle got her hooks, into Chris Watts. And Jamie had told me that it was while he was in solitary confinement. That's when she wrote him. And so at that time, he was clinging on to anything, right? So it was a very manipulative move. Tammy, I mean, we can all, I guess, agree to disagree with that. His family did not deserve to die, but if the family was alive, if that didn't happen on August 13th, would we really think that that treatment onto a man? Because if it was a man treating one of us females that way, we wouldn't like it. But what I have seen, the treatment that he has gotten, for some reason, everyone just, it's overlooked because it's a man. Chris is still distancing and minimizing. He hasn't fully accepted his responsibility. I can somewhat agree with that, Helen, but I still just don't think, I still can't really get 100% behind that he killed his children, at least by himself, because nothing adds up. And something that Christa, who is a psychologist and a prison psychologist at that, something that she said that is actually correct. How long was the court and all the proceedings before Scott Peterson got sentenced and charged and all that? Like, how come it was 6 days for Chris?
Yeah, it was so fast.
It was so fast, and it's a whole family that was massacred, but it was 6 days. If you don't think that he was threatened into just signing some deal and getting on with it so they could all, hurrah, this is over, we got the monster. Do I think that there needed to be a lot more investigating done? Yes, there definitely should have been a trial. Absolutely, Mary. I think there definitely, I still believe there's more. And with talking to the Watts, like, I definitely get the feeling they just can't believe it. I don't think they will ever believe it if it is true. I don't think they could ever. That's just not the brother and the son that they knew. I don't think they could ever wrap their heads around it, because, to be honest, I don't think I could ever wrap mine around it. So I could not expect them to when that's their family member.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that that's an excuse to kill his family. Please don't mistake that. I'm just saying that we all overlook that, and it absolutely, I think it matters. And you don't have to agree with me, but I think a person's mental status, if you will, at the time of a crime like that, especially someone, he has not gotten a parking ticket. I mean, he was clean as a whistle until his family was murdered one day. That doesn't fit the bill. The detectives even said, you don't fit the profile, and he doesn't. Does the story even make sense to you guys if you actually truly listen to it? I had to re-listen to it this weekend. So I'm going to repeat. His whole thing is he killed his wife because she said, you'll never see your kids again. What? But he killed his kids before, supposedly he killed Shanann. What?
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me. So he killed the girls before he killed his wife, who threatened, you will never see your kids again. Makes no sense. What I see, because he was a battered man, I see he was in a marriage that he was unhappy in. But much like many of us girls have had to do we not stay in a situation longer than we should? Because why? We have children, right? Do we not think that maybe that's why Chris was staying in such a toxic situation? I absolutely think it matters. I'm not saying that it's a right to kill his family. I do not think that that should have happened. Okay, so don't twist my words or whatever people want to do with me saying this. I'm just saying, to me, I think it does matter. Things just don't make sense or align with what the narrative is supposed to be, and none of it makes sense. We can't have things both ways. We can't have things that he's so dumb, he can't do anything without being controlled, to, well, he's a mastermind, he massacred his whole family, he did it all by himself, no help, no nothing.
Yeah.
Like, we all go back and forth to fit whatever narrative we have. How could we ever expect Cindy and Ronnie and Jamie to even be able to cope with it? We don't know what she said that for a fact. That's true, we don't know that she said that. But watching the interrogation, do you not get the feeling like, what stands out to me when they keep saying to Chris, they drill to him, Chris, like, we need to protect Shanann. We care about her image. Like, she was a good mom, Chris. She was a good mom. She was a good mom. She was a good mom. Until finally, what does he say to Tammy Lee? I was a good dad too. But nobody wanted to hear that. And they're, yeah, Chris, yeah, you were. Well, you're telling him, yeah, he's a good dad, but he just killed his kids. How are you agreeing with that? How do you go back like months later and be like, you don't fit the profile? He doesn't fit the profile. Are you going to tell me that this dude has not a thing on his record, but because he met a girl and banged her for 6 weeks, he killed his whole family? I don't buy it. I still will hold on to him saying, it's like I woke up and they had their hands on mine. I wanted to let go, but I couldn't. I literally think there's certain things that he has said that are signs to everyone that everyone's just not gonna listen to, and just think I'm crazy, and that's fine. Yeah, exactly. Their world was flipped upside down. I'll keep saying it. They woke up one day just like the rest of us, and their son wasn't Christopher anymore. It was not just America's biggest monster, but globally a global monster. They had to wake up on August 13th. And I'll tell you now, with talking to the family, they will never escape that day. They live on that day every day. I'm glad some of you don't think I'm nuts, but I just think there is a lot more to it. And even if it's somebody, which we've heard a certain Ruzick family member even say, they put this thoughts in my brother-in-law's head. They put these thoughts. He acted on what people put in his head. Remember, he said this multiple times. So who are they? Just like Chris said, it's like I came to, and I'm sorry, but if he was never drug tested, that is very bizarre to me, because he should have been drug tested within 48 hours, I believe, of being in the prison. I think that's what it is. I know Rhonda was. Almost all inmates I talked to had a drug test. Why was Chris not drug tested? He looked tore up, and I'm not just buying that it's because he was tired, he just killed his family. I don't buy that. I think he was on something. And when he says I came to, and it's like they had their hands on mine, and then you hear they a lot, or little slips like she wasn't supposed to be there. I've always said who wasn't supposed to be there, because Bella was supposed to be there, Cece was supposed to be there, and Shanann was supposed to be there. So who is she wasn't supposed to be there? Who is she? I think Chris Watts will be stuck on August 13th forever. And you know what? He should, because I am not saying no matter what, like he should be in prison because it's his actions that led to what happened. Whether I believe he had help or not, he didn't he didn't do anything like Mr. Scher said when he was like saying, well, I was thinking of ways, which is another thing, by the way, that stands out to me. I was thinking of ways like, how can I save my kids? Mr. Scher's like, don't kill him.
Yeah.
But why would he even wonder that? Because again, that tells me he didn't have control on the situation then, did he? If he's thinking of ways like, how can I save my kids? My wife is already dead, but how can I save my kids? Does that sound right to anybody? Because I don't think that sounds right.
See, I have a different train of thought on that one
What's that, baby?
because they were with Shanann, where they knew that their mom was dead. So he was thinking, how can I keep them quiet without them ratting me out inadvertently? And there'd be no way to have children lie about that. They would definitely let it slip, but they were witnesses at that point. But that's just my thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened. None of us know.
Yeah, but he knew the flight was delayed though, because that was texted to him. So either way, she would have supposed to be there because she should have been there earlier, right? So she wasn't supposed to be there. And then another thing that I noticed that a certain wannabe author, we'll call her, had said on this recent documentary that she believes that he drugged her with oxy the night of the murder. Not just the night of the murder, she says back in North Carolina and again on the night of the murder. Like I rewound that thing. I must have listened to it 3 or 4 times today. So she definitely says the night of the murder and in North Carolina. Again, not in toxology. So she did not have any oxy in her system the night of the murder, for damn sure. Hey, Lonnie. I wish Dieter could talk for just 5 minutes. Wouldn't that be something? It could have been maybe that I kind of wondered that too. But then again, everything that we know about Nicole Kessinger doesn't fit what is happening either. Amber Frey didn't just disappear off the face of the earth, right? So, but she was Googling how to have book deals, how to do interviews, like how would the public see her after, and she was really Googling Amber Frey and wanting to really try and be like her. There's specific photos we've all seen on Google. It's like, when were those taken and like what for?
Mm-hmm.
So she does all these things, and you can tell she wanted to profit off of what happened, right? And I actually think she is just, I think she is amongst us all, if you will. I think she's just using other people to profit for her. If you guys are catching my drift. But yeah, it does not add up. It doesn't fit what we all know of her. From Googling the family a year before the murders to looking up how to profit off of this to changing her name and disappearing off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Cadle, I agree. Royce, does he said on the drive to himself, why couldn't I save my girls? I took it as how did that happen with him there and what could he have done differently to save their lives? Again, though, something that I question and I heard even Chris himself had questions and brought up the gunshots earlier that morning. Chris said, did anyone report gunshots? Now he could be asking because he's heard it being said, or he's hinting like, hello, look into this, like, you know.
Well, that's and Liliana Gray said what the hell? Autopsy says Cece was in cruel sludge for 4 days. She died on Sunday. I didn't know that there were any autopsy results for the kids. I've never seen them. I'd like to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you have that, please send it to us.
Again, interesting. If that's true, the autopsy does not match the narrative we are all being fed now, does it? And do you think I believe reports that are written by corrupt people for a little bit of money? I do not. There is medical examiners and such who have lost their jobs and had to resign because they have been tied and actually gone on oath saying, I lied. I made shit up. So
Okay, Rosebud KS, everybody, someone's got to have them, so please email them to one of us because they're not in the Discovery version I have.
yeah. They did Mary T absolutely too much. Oh yeah, I bet Mama Kim has them. Yep. They're in Unjustified's Facebook. Thank you. I will text Mama for them.
Yeah, because that's the first time I've heard. Oh, they were in from the Monday to Thursday, so that is the 4 days. Okay. I did hear that a lot of people, because of the rigor and everything with Shanann, that they don't believe she died until Tuesday.
And that could be. She could have slowly, like, not to be gross, but he left her there in a shallow, like, yeah, I mean, it could be that she didn't technically die till on Tuesday. But yeah, that would make sense then because I forgot he was questioned. He went home. He wasn't, like, arrested right away.
Italian Girl, they're like redacted versions, so no, I didn't have the whole report, but yes, we can still help the Watts because it's not about what happened on that day. It's about all the bullshit that's happened since. I don't know why you don't understand that.
And here's the thing, Italian Girl. The Watts are very aware of what we do know or what we don't know, but we aren't. We are set out to help combat the lies and what people are just saying and judging and giving the Watts a voice. And when at some point you will, I think, Mr. Scher has talked to them about doing a sit down interview with them to learn more about. Well, babe, do you want to say? Because I don't know what all you're telling people or want to tell people.
Well, pretty much I just wanted to have them come on and talk about Chris growing up, like his childhood and everything, because we don't really hear any of that. All we really know about Chris is the couple of months before this happened and since. And I think it would be good for the Watts to talk about him and remember him as a child and everything. So it would kind of help like humanize them and Chris at the same time, like see that there's someone inside there, a human being. But I realize that's not going to be everybody's cup of tea.
Hmm. But we aren't behind the Watts to try and get Chris out of prison or help with that in any way. They are aware where we stand. I'm helping the Watts be seen as humans with feelings and emotions, and there to help combat the leeches and everyone that's got their claws out worrying about their pockets full of money. That's what we help with. Not trying to, we don't make them promises that we can get Chris out of prison, nor have we told them that we want that, okay? So we just want to help them get closure they need and for not, I don't know.
We aren't looking to use them to push a narrative or
Yeah.
solve a case or anything like that because that's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking to actually help them.
See, his mom is stuck in her grief. I would agree with that because she's hurting still. And while people are like, yeah, you get to talk to your son or whatever, they don't see Cindy as having a loss because Chris is still alive. but she absolutely lost. She loved her grandkids and she lost her grandkids, and she loved her son, and um she could talk to her son when she wanted. If she wanted to pick up and text her son, she could, or call her son. She doesn't get to do that anymore. She actually went almost 8 months with no contact with her son. So while yes, I can appreciate that's something, and that's more than what Sandy can do with her own daughter and grandkids, right? So I understand that. It's lost in different ways.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you see the 9 a.m. Vivint alert to Shanann's cell and garage door on the 13th, and it was redacted? I've heard a lot of people talking about that, and no, I didn't. Well, my question is, why didn't Nate's camera pick up anything? If someone came in or left that through that garage door, why didn't his camera pick anything up?
Okay, I'll answer first. Um, uh, I don't see that happening. I think I think they would love it. The Watts would love it, but I think that I'm trying to be as nice as possible here. I think there's one family that keeps up nastiness, and I don't see that from the Watts whatsoever. If I was to come out like, yeah, I don't see that happening. Do I want to see that? Yes, I do, soul sister. I wish. I don't think that's going to happen as long as we have certain people grieving in what I would call the wrong ways, but I can't really judge how people grieve. But I think there's certain family members that are still very, very angry to where this wouldn't happen anytime soon. If that's a good enough answer, I'll let Mr. Sheridan answer now. I'm trying to be nice as possible.
Yeah. If the two families of the victims reconciled and came out, would it stop the bitterness? If the entirety of both families were to come out and say, we've put this to bed, we're okay with everything, we're done, I think yes, it would. But I don't think that will happen.
Right.
I mean, that's our goal. We're trying to get people to stop with it. But yeah, I think the only way stuff like that will happen is when all of YouTube just moves on to something else.
Right, and that's how I see it as well, Dr. Hill, because I see she lost the relationship she once had, so it's a different loss than the Ruzek family, but it's a loss all the same, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that they're on an even playing field with that, but they do have a sense of loss.
Yes, Keela, he absolutely did. He did call Mr. Ruzek and just said, you know, they felt it in their heart to just call that day, just to let them know they were thinking of Sandy on that day, and it was a short call, but they absolutely did reach out. Because they're good people, you guys. They aren't the monsters that everyone says they are. Because people want to say Chris is a monster. Okay, that's your own opinion. But to say that monsters created a monster, I can't get on that planet with you. I can't. From what I have gotten to know, they are good people. And yes, they reached out on Mother's Day to just let them know that they were thinking about Sandy and Shanann on that day. And people want to say that's crap and whatever, but it's true. I saw the call logs. It's true. And from the sounds of it, the conversation went okay. It was short and sweet, and that was it. And they have little calls like that here and there. Can I ask what about the snarky things they said about Shan after she died? I can just answer that to my own, because I'm certainly not going to question Cindy on, well, why did you talk nasty about her? I'm going to answer that with my own thoughts and opinions on getting to know them myself. And I think it's because Cindy is very clear, even to this day, that they didn't get along. She did not like some things that she saw. She didn't like some treatments that she was seeing from Shanann to her son. And can you blame that? If, as a mother, to anyone, a mother of a boy, because I have two boys, and if I saw a female being disrespectful and somewhat abusive to my son, you're damn right I'm not going to like her. Okay, so I think she just didn't like things she's seen because her son, her baby, she didn't like what she saw of the treatment. And then when that happened, they quickly interview her, and yet she gave that face. But you have to understand they interviewed her at a time when she's under the belief that the daughter-in-law she already didn't really care for killed her grandchildren, and now her son's in prison. So do you understand? Like,
Yeah, she thought that Shanann killed the kids
yeah,
at that point. So of course she's not going to speak highly of her.
yeah, I think she was just speaking her truth, and everyone that wanted to twist it to look bad, even me, I said it didn't look good, but she's not trying to speak nasty. She just already, as a mother, she didn't like the treatment that her son was getting, and I think that's fair. I think that's how she felt. She's very open and blunt, and then that on top of she was just told, well, that she had strangled her grandchildren. Yeah, absolutely. That interview did not make her look good at all. But it was all very fresh. All these cameras in everyone's faces, like instantly. And the media also will make things look bad if they want it to look bad, if you catch my drift. So I think they did her no favors. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel, Archie, because I wouldn't, do we want her to go up there just because this happened? And then if she went up there and was like, oh, Shanann, like, and talked all amazing things, I still feel like people would rip her apart because, well, we all are too nosy, and we know that they didn't really we know what the text messages are or whatever. So if she was to come out and sing praises of Shanann, what a great daughter-in-law she was, everyone would say, you're a liar, Cindy. We saw text messages. We saw this and that. You were mean to her. So no matter what Cindy says, she's damned if she does, and she's damned if she doesn't. At least she is being her authentic self. But would you believe one day your son, who you know for however old he was at this time, would you believe one day wake up and just be able to believe that he could do that? Because I wouldn't. If I woke up one day and I found out that my son had killed his family, I would be in disbelief. And I would still be in disbelief probably 90 days later, and wasn't even 90 days when news crews and everything and media showed up. But then you have the author in there, and then you got this, you got all these YouTubers and all of these wannabe damn whatever they are, podcasters, authors, and whatever. They're all like in her face already. She didn't believe. We can say how we would feel right now without being in her shoes, right? But I think if we were actually in Cindy's shoes, we would all be reacting differently than what we say we are, or what we would, because we don't really know until we're put in that position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think NK is a victim at all. I think she is guilty AF. Absolutely. I think, and I would say that to this day, that I believe she is still in complete shock. Like, I am not lying when I say Jamie and Cindy. I think Ronnie has a better grasp on things, but he still has a lot of questions. But Cindy and Jamie are still on that day of August 13th. And I want to just go back. Somebody a little bit ago said, well, they should just get over it. They have other grandkids to focus on or whatever. I want to make it very clear they spend a lot of time with their other grandchildren. They were actually just at baseball championships over the weekend last weekend. I've gotten lots of videos and pictures of it. I've been asked not to share because there's only so much that they get to themselves that aren't blasted all over social media or media at all or anything like that. So I don't show these things, but they're nice enough to share with Mr. Sharon and Mama Kim and I, and it's really nice to see. But they absolutely are involved quite a bit in their other grandkids' life.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Seth. Get over it. Wow. Uh-oh, what happened?
Oh no.
Yeah, definitely. They are definitely supported around here. I didn't like ruining Ronnie's Sunday today because I was talking with Jamie. Then Jamie's like, I'm going to tell Dad to call you. So he did, and he was out doing yard work, and I think they were grilling some steak, it sounded like, and I had to just rain on their parade and be like, I think you should watch that thing, because I was telling them certain things that were said and all of that, and they actually hadn't watched it till after I spoke with them uh, this afternoon on the phone. So um, Ronnie was just like, wow, it's amazing how they'll just twist things up, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
People are telling them what to get over it. I think that's not fair. Would you say that to the Ruziks? Would you tell them to just get over it? Any ideas why Chris had the kids' medical records sealed? I'm not sure if it was Chris that did that. We are all told it was Chris.
Dr. Hill, no, we do not.
We actually agree on very little to do with this case.
Yeah.
Hey, Heatherlicious. Would you like a quick rundown of what Mr. Scherer believes currently?
Yeah, I can give my quick synopsis. Mine is pretty simple. I think well, Chris being like the battered man syndrome, sort of, didn't really like his life, didn't like his marriage, didn't really see a way out. And then he meets NK, and she basically, well, she pursued him, so he felt wanted and desired, and he liked all that feeling. And then he got to have like a little vacation with her when Shanann left. And then when Shanann was coming back, he didn't want that to end, and he was thinking maybe divorce or whatnot. But I think something went wrong in his head, and he killed Shanann, and the kids saw it, or saw their mom dead, and it was like, well, there's no way to keep the kids from telling what happened, so he had to kill the kids too. That's pretty much my thinking on it.
I'd like the clip where Cindy says that, because I actually haven't heard that. I mean, I've heard about that situation, but I haven't heard where it's Cindy saying that. And I don't know when that happened. I don't know if that's true. Actually, I don't even want to touch on that, because I really don't know much about that situation, how old the kids were or anything. Was it the middle of the night and the baby was crying? Did he sleep naked? Like, I don't know.
Heatherlicious, yeah, basically, like, I'm not a psychologist, but the fact that he was so detached afterwards during the interviews, on the porch, like all the time after, like zero emotion. I found that so weird. And even now, like he never seems to be really upset about the whole thing.
Mm.
Dalen, I don't know. I don't understand. Like if I have heard that they did find hair in there. DNA, not likely, because unless someone's bleeding a lot, they're not going to leave DNA even by touch. And yeah, they were strangled, so there wouldn't be a lot of blood. But, it is weird. And the fact the dogs didn't hit on the truck is weird. Or they kind of freaked out a little bit, but they didn't really hit on it. But I don't know. Like with the chemicals in and around Chris's truck, would that screw with the dog's sense of smell? I have no idea. I am not an expert.
Mr. Sher, do you think NK is completely innocent?
No. I think she knew after the fact. I don't think she was involved in the murders, but I do think she might have helped after the fact.
Yeah, I believe that there was 2 other people there, and I believe if you want my honest opinion, I think that Chris was dabbling into some drugs while hanging with NK and Jim. I think that definitely his shakes were maybe tampered with, and I think that there's some. I think the Watts maybe agree with that. I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I've definitely brought this up to them, and yeah. So I definitely believe that he had help. I believe there's 2 other people there, and I believe that, well, if you want my honest opinion, I think that they held his hands on Shanann's throat, and I think that he was very drugged up when doing it. And I also think that he had no control over what was going to happen to girls. I think 2 other people murdered the girls. I don't think Chris did it. I don't. I think one person took one girl to one battery, the other person took the other girl to the other battery. Well, somebody else took Shanann to the shallow grave. I fully believe that Chris Swatt's first thing would not be to murder his family. But they didn't do Cheryl. They didn't drug test him whatsoever. So we would never know about that. Yeah. I'll just say it. Jim and NK. I believe they were there, and I actually believe a third person was there as well. I believe there was Chris and 3 other people. That's my belief. And I think that they absolutely were in the house when Shanann got there. And I do think that that's what the 111-minute phone call was about. I think it absolutely was supposed to be an alibi. I don't think he would have had to get them bodies out and do all of this in about an hour to. It would have had to be under an hour and a half for 3 murders to happen in that house and cadavers not pick up on it. Yeah. So he killed 3 people in that house, got them all out and cleaned up the house all within an hour and a half, and drove 45, 50, however long it is from the house to Cervi. I don't think he did this alone. She was home. She went home. I've heard that theory about NK's dad. I actually think that it was another Anadarko worker that starts with T.
Yeah, Dalen, I heard that one of the girls was injured, but I didn't hear that she was injured while at the house. Like, she could have been injured at Serby, like after they already got there. So, but I don't know.
Right. I always wondered that too, because I know some friends that take Thrive and have to take breaks with it. I know Dr. V and her sister tried it, and they said just like after trying it for like one day or half a day, their body was already telling them like to take it again. So it seemed like it was very quick to hook you on it and your body wanted it. And Robbie, we all know Save Robbie, he does Thrive as well, and he has to take breaks on from Thrive because it makes him not sleep good. So absolutely, I think that it could have. I think any vitamin or any over-the-counter medications, any medications, anything that you are putting synthetically in your body could absolutely play a part in it. Especially if you are maybe, because I've always wondered, maybe was he a little, I don't want to say mentally unstable, but maybe he had some kind of mental health issues already, which he had to have because no matter what, like Mr. Sharon and a lot of you say, he acts totally fine, right? So we know he's not mentally stable. But having sleep mess with you, I mean, I used to work graveyard shifts at a truck stop, and when I worked from 9 o'clock and get off at 7 in the morning and then drive home, I would feel drunk as heck driving home. I saw someone leave creepy comment in a chat once that maybe some nighttime tea had been drugged, and had they looked, they may have seen an injection site, the site of a wasp sting on Chris Watts' neck. Like, Yeah, me too, Archie. I can't do the 5-hour energy drinks. I will get very sick from them. So I do think it should have been definitely looked at. Hey, Heather. Right, exactly. David was there visiting with Chris. David. Where do I know that name? So that mixed with Thrive, and then whatever NK gave him. Yep, I agree. Yeah, that, and yeah, if he was dabbling, remember he said there's some dark things happening that he'll never speak on. That could be drugs. It could be anything. Maybe she was into a Ouija board. Like, I have no idea. And then somebody asked also were the Watts in contact with NK, and I would have to answer no on that because, well, that's what they tell me, and I kind of I believe it. But they had said that he said that they didn't know about the affair until about the time of the murders, and I didn't know if that was true or not because I was going by Ronnie's reaction in the interrogation where he didn't act surprised. But then I think people forget Chris had picked him up from the airport and driven, so it may have been brought up then, or it could have been just Ronnie. He really is just like a man of a few words, very like quiet and reserved, doesn't really say much like Mr. Cher. And so maybe he just wasn't shocked.
Can I talk for a sec? That sheet thing? A lot of people don't understand this whole DNA thing, okay? If you were to wrap yourself up in a sheet and then someone tested for DNA, there's a high likelihood they wouldn't find any. Like, it has to come most likely from liquid, like blood or something. So there is a good chance that there wouldn't be any DNA from a strangulation victim.
Huh.
But that's like, it's just a theory. I don't know what happened. I don't know why there was no DNA found in the truck. As far as the girl bleeding, that could have happened out at Serby, or they could have had a rag over her mouth or something, so blood wasn't dripping everywhere. I have no idea. It's just my theory. I don't see any evidence pointing to someone else being there. That's basically my point.
Well, I definitely think other people were there because we even have video clippings. You guys, do you remember like the person who goes there for the forensics to check take the fingerprints and all that? And what was she saying in that video clip? She was saying, "Really? Is it like, are they done in here?" Like, she was even like, "Something is off here. This doesn't look right." So even the person that was there supposed to like collect the forensic stuff, the fingerprinting and all of that, was saying there's something not right about this. Like,
Yeah, everything was supposed to be like marked and stuff, and like that wasn't done.
what was the N Carolina call from NK? I'm not questioning you, just curious if you know the reason where the call went to.
And people aren't guaranteed to release bodily fluid when they die either. It's not a lock. But again, it's just a theory. You don't have to pick at me. I'm just saying I don't see any evidence that other people were there.
You guys do know that she used to live in North Carolina, right? NK did. And trust me, because all the records have been, and if it was Ronnie or Cindy's phone number, everyone would have had that going around in screenshots. But I don't think they knew. I think they knew the time of the murders.
Yes, everything has DNA. You guys, everything has DNA, but the odds of them finding it aren't nearly as high as if they see liquid. Like, Google it, for Christ's sake. Touch DNA, yeah, it exists, but it's not as plentiful.
No, she did not call the Watts. She did not. Yes, she did. She had moved to Colorado. I'm not sure how long before the Watts did. And so what was that? Yes, she did. Yes, she moved from there. It was North Carolina, right? Yeah, it was North Carolina. Are people really just learning that for the first time? I can't remember whereabouts, but or how long before. See, exactly, Dylan. Their narrative does not fit, and it's really like standing out to me a lot today. Because again, here's another thing. Chris had told that wannabe author that he knew the pressure points or whatever. He knew where the points were to strangle Shanann. And so he knew how to do that, but you're going to tell me that he didn't know how to do it on his daughters then? So he failed at doing that with his daughters, but succeeded in it with Shanann. but he was some pro that studied how to do it before. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. And then the kids came back to life, and then no, and again he was like their eyes were bloodshot or whatever, but they said there was no blood in their eyes. So,
Oh, since we're talking about the sheet and everything, I heard something, and I'm not one to, like, this is where I and always have issues with people, is I never believe what anyone says unless I've read it. But I did hear that according to the GPS on his truck, on the way home, he stopped at a dumpster somewhere. And I don't think they ever even checked that. So Shania might have been wrapped up in something else too, besides just that sheet. I don't know if that's true, but I just heard that.
yeah, it was to his, remember they had the two phones, a work phone and a personal phone. It was not to Ronnie or Cindy or Jamie. They didn't know Nicole Kessinger. At the back of his house, he stopped at the dumpster.
Yeah,
Terrible
see,
him just finding it for the first time.
I heard that there was one like north of his house, not behind his house, but in front, like a block or something, up in that construction area. Like, and I don't know if they even went up there. I heard that the dogs were sniffing around up there, but no, I never heard anything.
Hmm. Um.
Okay,
uh,
what about the fingerprints on the bag? I've heard of that, and I don't know. And the footprints, well, there'd be a lot of people who worked out at Survey,
mhm.
so it could have been lots of different people. But, and again, I'm not saying that no one was helping him after the fact, you know. There might have been someone out at Survey helping him.
Hmm. Deanna, they didn't actually know much about like the whole Googling and stuff, so are more like, what? Like, there's actually some stuff where I'll talk to them, and they're like, "You're kidding me!" Like, it's news to them. So, as far as they don't understand, I don't think, like the Googling and stuff. They're very, very old school. I know people their age that actually still uses flip phones. Okay, so they have actually no idea why or could even answer that because they didn't know her and they still don't know her. I said, "Do you know her new name? Would you tell me?" "I won't tell anyone." They said they don't know her. They have no idea. They only learned of her because of this situation. Yes, that was very odd too. And what they had said in the recent documentary, well, Chris had sex with her to catch her guard or to get her guard down to murder her. I'm sorry, but if I am first of all, an expecting mother and a mother already, I don't care if I just had sex or not. I'm still going to fight for my life and defend myself, right?
Mm.
So that actually makes no sense whatsoever to me. That made that just stupid. That's a stupid thing to say.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I think he probably choked her from behind.
Yeah, but there was no, I believe they did swabbing, not to be gross, but I don't think that they found that, and unless you're going to tell me he wore a condom to have sex with his wife before murdering her. I'm not buying that either, sorry.
Yeah.
Want to know more about the validity of NK calling about the emptying of the red dumpsters too? I have heard that. I've asked before, months and months ago, for someone to please send me that because I didn't know about that. But that's around the same time I heard of her 2017 arrest as well. NK was arrested in 2017.
they did check the dumpster, but it had been emptied. And it sounds like someone had said, didn't NK call that company? Maybe she called and had the dumpster emptied.
We would have to see the proof of where people would even get that from, because I've heard the rumors, but I've never seen proof. NK's phone numbers, I know what her phone number was. So show me the call log. I'll tell you if it's her phone number. A bunch of us know what her old number is, but I have a most recent one of February 2021.
And a lot of things people have said are in discovery aren't.
Right.
If Mia says it's in discovery, I believe her because I know she's gone through that more than once. But there's a lot of stuff, like I'm always hearing new stuff and people say it's in the discovery, and I'm like, Christ, where? Like I haven't read the whole thing because I don't even have the whole thing. I don't know, I think about 2/3 of it. So I know I'm missing stuff, but yeah.
I have spoke to her. I want to say it was last summer. I believe it was on Mia's live stream. I did call the old number and she answered, and all she said was, well, first she didn't answer, but I think she was watching the live stream because she knew my number. I had reached out to her before and she threatened to sue my pants off and just told me not to contact her again, or yeah, she would sue everybody. And then I said, okay, as you wish, whatever. And then I know she definitely knew my channel and stuff because I was sending her links, and she knew about Tanya as well because, of course, we got her book deal. But anyway, we said she didn't answer my call because she knew who I was, so I called using my friend Kayla's phone. And I said during the live stream, oh, I'll call from this number. She won't know who I am. Ha 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 ha. And I feel like she was listening because then, yeah, Mia, that was wild. So then she answered from my friend's phone, and all she said was, bye, for like a straight minute saying that, and then hung up. And then a few months ago, I got a new phone number that was registered to her name. Were you there, Cindy? And it was as recent as February 2021. And here's the thing, February 2021, there's a phone number registered, and it even has her dad's name and everything, but it's registered to Nicole Kessinger, not whatever her new name would have been in October. So I thought that was interesting. It made me wonder, did her name change actually happen? Did it go through, or is she still Nicole Kessinger? So I don't know, but there is legal documents that show or what our phone number would have been in February, but I've already gone and messaged that phone number a few times, so they may have changed it, but it was registered to Nicole Kessinger. So there's that. So I don't know if she got the name change. And what's interesting is I texted that phone number. I didn't say, hey, Nicole, or hey, anyone. I said, hey, there's somebody on YouTube pretending to be your family, and it's really not looking good. Like, you might want to do something about that. And right away she wrote back, oh, are you talking about Nicole? I feel so sorry for her, or something, like she sounds like she's had a tough life. And I was like, yeah. And we kind of texted back and forth for a little bit, and then I sent my YouTube channel link and they stopped responding. But it was very weird. I showed Mr. Share too, and he was like, it's weird because you didn't say who you were trying to reach, but right away they came back with, oh, do you mean Nicole? See really quick if I can even find that text message. Hold on.
No dumpsters emptied as per regular emptying schedule. So it was empty before, so because they apparently checked it and it was empty. Yeah, I don't know. You can dive into this whole thing and you'll come up with more questions than answers. It just doesn't matter. long and the short of it is Chris does not have a normally functioning brain. That's obvious. And he confessed to it. So he may have had help from, what happened that day and how efficiently he would have had to do everything to do it solo. It does seem likely he had someone helping him. But like I said, I don't know that for sure. Sent me a photo. Oh, and she's gone. Once again, I'm all alone.
I don't know, because I couldn't hear you, but my volume was all up. Baby, would you share? We'll show the first number that I had called on Mia's live stream. We'll show the text from that number.
You want me to show that picture you just sent?
Yes, please, baby.
Okay. It's going to be a minute. I got to get it on the computer here.
Was MRB mentioned in the Lifetime show? No, she was not. Armchair Detective was, though. Hey, Monica. Hey, Brooke. Anyone coming in? I'm sorry. I kind of had to go in and out for my sound issues. And trying to get some things for Mr. Share to show to. That's what I'm saying. If they were involved, why is they able to go free? And I'm sorry, they have more involvement than anyone is saying. Even if you help plan the murder of children, you should not be out on the streets and probably around other children. So this is the first time I texted her, and I sent her a video link, which was me when I used to actually support her. I always said a mistress doesn't make a murderer, and I was like on her side for a good year. So she started being mean to me. Stop messaging me, please. So then I realized I actually messaged that same phone number before the new phone number where she says, "This is my 12-year-old son's phone number." And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry for bothering you." And they said, "Oh, no problem. I just wanted to make sure." No, I was fine. I just had to go to bed early. It was Mr. Sheriff who slept like till 1 in the afternoon. Well, he got up and then went back to bed. Okay, and then I'm gonna send Mr. Sheriff the other text of the new phone number for under her name and see what she said.
Yeah, Heatherlicious. We're very glad that it's over.
All right, baby, I sent you.
Yeah.
Yeah, way glad. Yeah, the rest of her life. Yeah, he definitely shouldn't have. I wish, but they kind of prey on people like the Watts. They've never been in trouble before. They don't know the law. Thank you, Elizabeth. Super sweet of you. Thank you so much. They don't know the law like that, you know? So then here's that other number. And I said to them, what's it say, baby? I can't read it. Maybe you want to read it.
People claiming to be your family all over YouTube, it's not making it look good. Hope this finds you well. I'll send you the link so you can see. And they said, are you talking about Nicole? I'm not Nicole, but her like sounds hard. Yes, I'm sorry to bother you. Just wanted to let someone know. Okay, thanks. If you know her, let her know she has supporters she wants or needs it. I'll send the link to that YouTube channel. And they said, okay, thanks, but I don't know her. Sorry.
That's weird, right? I didn't say I was looking for Nicole. I just said people are pretending to be your family on YouTube, and right away they said, you mean Nicole?" And I think that's interesting also.
Mm-hmm. Very.
No, she probably wouldn't admit it. I think so too. I think it was her also, because the number was to her name and her father's name. So
Yeah, Dr. Hill, it's hard to say. Would you think, oh God, I just want to have nothing to do with this guy, or would you turn it all over to the cops? And I don't know how I'd react in that situation.
I think they did that on purpose, spelling her name wrong.
Mm.
But I think for someone who was looking up Amber Frey and how she went about things, she completely went opposite way, because Amber Frey wired up and went and talked to this man who killed his pregnant wife and went in a room alone, wired up and everything. Like, she NK did completely different than the very mistress. Well, actually, I don't like to call Amber Frey a mistress, because she honestly didn't know. We all seen with our own eyes that she was being lied to when he was telling her he was in Paris, but really he's at the Vigilant for his family. And so we all seen she was really being lied to. So I don't like that she is just like a famous mistress. NK
Tammy
followed
Ayo.
nothing in Amber Frey's footsteps. Nothing. Amber Frey, yes, she was a mistress, but not that she knew of, if that makes sense. Thank you, Tammy. I love you. But she did everything. She turned over everything. She didn't care that she had, she probably had pictures in there she didn't want the world to see. She turned everything over, and she wired up. And Kay could have done all of that, and to be honest, she probably would have had mad support, right? She would
Mm.
have, because we'd be like, okay, she is innocent. But when she wants everything deleted and everything hidden, that's guilty. Thank you, Drew. Welcome to the crazy train. Woo woo.
Yeah, even if she is innocent of this, she is still shady. Definitely. At the
Yeah,
very least.
we love you too. Yeah, she really didn't know. She had no idea. Oh, Dylan, we love you too. Thank you.
Love you too, Galen. It's Dalen, right? Or did I get that wrong?
Dylan.
I thought it was Dalen.
Dalen? Dylan or Dalen? Who's saying it right?
I know we talked about this once already.
I think so.
I might have it wrong. I don't know. For some reason, I thought Dalen.
By the way, you guys are awesome. I think I have now 85 members. That's insane to me. I told Mr. Share when I made members, like, I don't think I should. No one's going to be a member for me.
Ah, I was right. Dalen. Ha!
Ah,
Yes. Chuck one up for the very reason.
well, there's a absent A. It's silent and it's non-existent. Way to confuse Share. Innocent people don't hide. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm waiting for you to board the train, Seth. Even had to deal with Scott pretending, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the same situation, really, but there are similarities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, NK's reaction was definitely shady. And yeah, if someone says that they think NK had something to do with it, I definitely can't disagree.
I would argue with the devil. He would send me right back up to God because he's like, you take her. Amber Frey told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but. NK lied. Yes, absolutely. I 110% agree with that. And telling Chris, delete, deleted all her stuff. And I have gone back and forth so many times with NK, and I just keep going back to what she did is wrong. I would turn over everything because what's going to be worse? You could sue the police department if they put out your phone and your naked pictures. Okay, so just from her I'll say her Google searches, she wanted to make a quick dollar. She did. It's there for everyone, plain as day to see. So I'm going to hand over my phone. I don't care what pictures are in there or not, because if that gets leaked, I know who leaked it. Somebody within this police department, one of these investigators that have my phone, leaked this out to the media. And I am suing everybody's pants off. There won't be a police station no more because their money is going to be my money. So I would much rather worry about that later if that happened, because I would honestly believe that's not going to happen. Police aren't going to do that because they don't want to get sued, right? That is a huge violation. So I'm handing my phone over.
Yeah. Well, I think she had things on her phone that either would implicate her or make it look like it. Like if she said, "I want you to get rid of your family and be with me,"
That's
that
what I
doesn't
was saying, Megan.
mean that she wanted him to kill them. But people say things, but it could be that, or it could be, she was encouraging him, just kill them all, and then we'll have our life together. Who knows? But like I always go back to, if this was planned, it was the worst plan ever. Like he would have been better off to kill them and leave them out behind his house than to take them to where he works. Like it is just worst
Yeah.
plan ever.
That's interesting too. A whole family is murdered, and they're going to tell me they said the FBI was involved in everything, right? But they aren't going to get those deleted text messages. What the F is that about? Why?
Maybe they got him.
What I would really like to ask Tammy Lee and all of these people, I think they have children, I would want to ask them, would you let NK babysit your daughters, nieces, or grandchildren?
Yeah, I had that dream that NK would agree to be interviewed me, but only at my house, and I was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not saying she's innocent. That's for sure.
Hmm.
I definitely have my doubts and suspicions. But maybe the FBI did get those messages, because I guarantee you, even the full discovery doesn't have everything
No,
that.
they didn't, baby. They never got those text messages. They even said that they didn't recover those, that they didn't have to. That's in their own words that no, they never did.
Yeah, and you're gonna believe that?
Yeah, I believe that.
I don't.
Why would they lie?
Why wouldn't they? Because they don't
Here's,
want to. They didn't
but
want to
here's
have to.
my thing. I hate when it sounds like you're defending her, but if why wouldn't they put something out to show us more of her innocence instead of just tell us she's innocent, she wasn't there, we saw what we needed to. Okay, well show us then. Why are you doing press conferences about this shit if you're not going to show the shit? Why is this the only case where we don't get to see? Because they sure as hell put Amber out there to freaking dry, whatever you want to say. They hung her out there, but she did what she was supposed to do, and that's why you don't hear people really talk bad about Amber Frey.
Mm-hmm.
They could have put anything. Don't just say, "Well, we saw what we had to." Show us something, anything that would tell us, okay, because then we would shut up and we would move on. But I feel like they don't even want us to do that. Why?
Well, I can give you a couple of reasons.
What are they?
Well, as YouTubers, we have way too big of a head. We think that we speak for the general public. We do not. 90% of the public have no idea what this case is. The most popular video about Chris Watts on YouTube has what, 15 million views? That's only a drop in the bucket of the percentage of the US alone. We care about this case on YouTube. Society doesn't.
Well, it all started about social media, baby. That's why it's so huge on social media, Facebook, YouTube, and all that.
Not huge on social media, but it's still only a drop in the bucket of society. Why are they going to waste their resources because of what some YouTubers want?
Seth, I didn't even get the thing that you became. There's nothing. Oh, there you are. Welcome to the crazy train. Woo woo.
Attaboy.
Let me check my perks. I have to do better. That's something that I need to know because I don't want to do members only lives and chats because I know what it's like to not even, sometimes it is at $1 or $2 that will really like screw somebody if they don't have it, and you're then overdrafting your account $30 for a whole 99-cent deal, right? So I don't want to do that where there's going to be people that cannot be a part of the chats. I don't like that. So if there's, thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that so much. If there is something else that you guys think that would be a good idea, I'll do that. But I don't feel comfortable doing members only chats and lives. I don't want anyone to feel left out because they're all supporting by watching and being members already or whatever. Just watching is enough support. So, hey, checking convictions. Please do a video on the cult. I'll help with research. That's more my lane.
So cults. Which one? Hey, what's up,
That's more my lane, yeah. Dylan. Sure, I like being green. Woo woo. Thank you, Dalen. I'll call you your right name now.
Well, Dalen, I've heard that there's a few cults, like ties to the Freemasons, the that religion thing she was in. What was it called? I can't remember.
I can't.
And another cult where they have like these secret meetings in some cabin in the woods. I don't know. There's like 3 or 4.
Yes, that was the name. Yeah. OTO?
Gaia. Thank you, Misha. Gaia.
Gaia.
Yeah, where they believe that human beings are basically a plague on the earth, which we kind of are if you think about it. When we're using up the natural resources, destroying the air and everything, we really are like a cancer if you think about it.
Yeah, that would be something we could definitely, that would be a good video for him to do, wouldn't it? Like kind of dissecting more about that. Because I actually remember you guys, I have messaged them and they straight up told me that no, they were not members, and they actually, it said like headmaster or whatever that one was there. I said, was Nicole Kessinger a part of your religion? And their reply back was, no, Nicole and her father are not a part of our religion, and we currently have our lawyers working on this. That's what their message to me was. So that's interesting as well. Yeah, I think it's interesting because I didn't bring up her dad at all. They said that to me. No, Nicole or her father are not involved in our religion. Our lawyers are working on that. Yes, you should get some sleep. You had a big birthday party and out and partying. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We love you, girl.
That cult thing is interesting though, because I just watched a documentary on Netflix, The Sons of Sam, and they were playing that back to can never remember the name of these things. The Process, I think. And they even linked a Helter Skelter guy.
Hmm.
What the hell's his name?
Manson?
Yeah, Manson. They even linked Manson to that. Kind of flimsily, but that was really interesting.
Hmm.
You never know these cults, how deep they actually go.
Hmm.
Could have all been a cult sacrifice thing, it's not impossible.
Babe, we got
Yeah,
where'd
Charles
you go?
Manson.
Carly, welcome. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, by all means, Dalen. I'll put my email in there.
Yes.
I do want
Interesting.
something to sink my teeth into on my channel other than the anti-drama thing.
Hello. Mr. Share's email, send him what you would like. What would you members think is a good idea? What would you guys want me to share? I know I like sharing like more like I'll share like my private family things, maybe pictures of my kids and stuff like that I wouldn't put for everyone. But since I'm not really into doing the I don't want to like disclude anyone. So the members only lives I will not do, or members only chats, that just won't be something that I'm down for. But I'm open to ideas from you guys on what else you guys would like for members only. Awesome, Karen. We hope you are well also.
Yeah, that phone ping that Mia was talking about. And
Hmm.
then again, this is something I heard. I don't know if it's true, but something about she did go to the house to pick up a stone that Chris had got for her.
Hmm.
I don't know. I
I
also
just
heard that Nan was into stones and that healing energy from them or whatever too, crystals and all that.
hmm.
But I don't know.
I think it's very telling of her doing the Freemason hand signal over the place where 5,000 children were sacrificed.
Yeah, holding that stone over her head. Yeah.
Ah, no. No, I can't do that, son.
Yeah, criminal imagination. Yeah, the crystal under Bella's bed. I did hear that Shanann was into that stuff. Like a lot of people think NK put that there as some kind of a curse or something, but I heard Shanann was into crystals and stones too. So I don't know. But again, like everything you hear, it's never from the source. You
Right.
never, it's true or not.
Your weakness that really became strength is a great positive message. Thank you.
Hmm.
It was, yeah, it doesn't hurt in asking. Ping
In fact,
places her there that morning.
it
Yeah,
put her, yeah, somewhere she didn't normally go on her way to work or whatever.
yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
So that makes me wonder, was she part of cleanup? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Ozzy Dave did something about the timing of where Chris stopped on the way, and then there was a phone call to NK or something, and then she got into work like right around that time or after that, and I don't know what that was all about, but yeah.
Yes, criminal imagination. There's a picture. Do you have that picture, baby?
Oh, which
Of her over the place in is it Aruba?
uh I want to say Peru, but that's wrong.
Peru sounds right. I think you might be right. and it's where either it's 500 or 5,000 children were sacrificed, and she's holding a stone in her hands of the Freemasons, the actual the sign that you see Jay-Z and Beyonce and them do. Yes, Peru. I believe Mr. Sheriff was right on that. It's Peru.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on that, but yeah, I found the picture. Just gotta.
Yes, Oz, very sus. And even if she was involved in the cleaning, that, and again, I'm going to go back to Frankie Jr. Ruzick saying they. My brother listened to what they put in his head and acted on it. He should be in prison for life, or he is exactly where he should be. People stop praising my brother, yada, 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 because he acted on what they put in his head. They. So it's more than just NK. And why did she say, just leave Jim alone? But I do believe that there was 3 people there. I think it was Jim, NK, and Trent Bolt. That's just what I think.
Very possible. And the other thing that's weird is Chris knew about Nate's camera, right? So it would make more sense to take the victims out the back than in the front. But you do see him pick up one of the kids.
Where the gunshots were.
But yeah, then there was the gunshots that no one ever really talks about. Like, there's so much that just, you can basically go in any direction you want and you'll find things that say you're right.
Yes, I think 4, including Chris. Yes, Mia. I think we've talked about that privately a while ago, but I absolutely believe that there was 4 people, including Chris. Oh, you're funny.
So did anyone confirm that it was Peru?
I think
Because I remember reading about this, and I remember reading about that ancient culture where they did sacrifice children for favorable weather and things like that. And people did some stupid shit back then. Always about sacrifices and torture. It was what a nasty time.
Mm.
We were just absolutely barbaric back then.
Yeah, Mary T.
Michelle, yes, that's it. Muchu Picchu.
Does it have a snake in it? And I'm wondering, do we have pictures of the stone under the bed? Does it look like that stone? Like, I'm curious.
I don't remember ever seeing a picture of it. You know, someone asked a while back, have you ever seen a case that had this much information put out? And no, I haven't. Like, that's kind of a weird thing too. Sacrifice is a sacrifice of a male child still in. Ugh. See, I never heard anything about that. Jesus. Like, how can people be that far gone mentally that they actually are willing to do something like that? Beyond me.
I'm not sure if she said that. It was pink, but not rose quartz. Okay. It is. It's not. People would much rather think that's just a crazy thought to have. It's a conspiracy theory. But I see things that would only prove that to me.
Yeah, like there's little tidbits that will prove pretty much, or at least support pretty much any theory, which is so odd. Taking a male before birth is considered taking it from God. Well, yeah, I guess I've never heard that before, but yeah.
This makes me angry. Why did they not push NK more for the truth? That's a good question, and it's honestly a question that the Watts have also. You know, when yeah, they definitely think that she should have been investigated. They for sure believe that she had something to do with this. I can say that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Emma, like a lot of people do, yeah, use Christianity to mock, explore, and ridicule. Yeah, lots of people use their religion to mock others and demean them for sure.
Yeah, I think it is a cover up for her, but why? I have no idea. But I don't understand why people would cover up Whitley Goodman either. It just makes no sense to me. But there has always been a thing about women in prison and good looking women in prison. Casey Anthony. And, it's just, there's all these traits they do to women. They'll put, oh, you need to put glasses on and do this and that to try and make you look whatever. And for, more women get let go than men. And so if they could nail Chris Watts and let beautiful NK, beautiful young woman go, for some reason, that's what happens. Because why is Casey Anthony free? Even though I personally don't believe, I believe she should be in prison because I think she knew and she should have acted on what happened and didn't stop what happened. But I don't personally believe she was the one that murdered Kaylee. But that's my own opinion and a whole different show. But there is something to young, beautiful women not getting prison sentences as often as men.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't get the cover up either. The only thing I could really think of are some of the people, investigators, because within the cults, we all know they had lawyers, they had people in police stations. So that's the only thing I could really think. You go back, it was only a few hours. Tammy Lee, what she do, went on Facebook. He is a monster, blah, 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 blah. And she already had it set on social media and already had social people on the platform's minds made up. So why? I don't know. But are there some people in Colorado in that police station that are part of the cults that are there in Colorado? We just never know. Much like the Scientology, they have their own lawyers. They got the police department involved that help them do their dirty work. Like, has anyone watched that Leah Remini and exposing cults and just exactly what they do?
I think it was payback for something she did with Dirty South. Maybe. But then why the kids?
Right, why the kids?
And why not Chris then?
Right.
Why can't we find any past on NK? Yeah, the only thing from NK's past that I've seen was like MySpace. And I think someone figured out where she went to high school or something, but yeah, not a lot.
Yes, she did live in North Carolina before living in Colorado. This is fact. It's fact.
I don't know if Chris was in a cult. Maybe.
I don't think he was. Or maybe he did get brought to a couple cult meetings. That's what he said. They were involved in something dark and that he would never talk about it. Maybe he went to a couple meetings with Jim and NK, and he probably would not want his parents to know that because I believe they're Catholic. I could be wrong on the religion. I think they're Catholic.
1 hour drive for us was nothing. Nobody ever came forward saying that they knew her before. Well, okay, but came forward to who? She wasn't under investigation, so like I'm wondering if anyone actually went looking and found people from her past, or if it's just because no one ever came out on social media saying they knew her.
Mm.
Because yeah, if I knew a girl growing up in high school and then I found out she was somehow mixed up in the family annihilation, I wouldn't be going to social media advertising the fact that I knew her either. But I mean, if they knew where she went to high school, they could have easily contacted her old classmates or something.
I'll ask them. I just never asked them what I knew they were religious. I just didn't know their background.
Different.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll definitely ask them.
Okay.
That's kind of what I feel. I've always wondered because people think Chris is protecting her, but I don't think 6 weeks of an affair with a woman that did this to him, I don't think that's who he's really protecting. I've always wondered, is he protecting his sister and children? I could see him protecting that. And remember, Little Miss Author Wannabe had said something like, he's afraid his sister and their kids could get hurt because Nikki's still free. Maybe if there was a cult involved, maybe they would still be scared. Could they get my mom and dad? Could they get my sister and her daughters as well? Because I don't know. On Father's Day this year, Chris sent Jamie's husband a Father's Day card. Like little things that Chris does and asks about. When you watch, whoever watched the documentary, you heard Cheryln say, "Well, he asked me. He always seemed like really too into my grandchild that was Bella and Cece's age." Okay, could that be that he misses his children and they're the same age, so he's just like, you know what I'm saying? And then to say like, Chris asked her, "Hey, if I was to ever walk out of prison one day, would you let me babysit your granddaughter?" And for some reason, that stood out to me as like him being innocent and wondering, like, do you believe me or do you think I'm this monster? Like, what do you think of me, right? And that's something Mr. Scher asked me actually when I was still helping Rhonda. Well, he said, remember, babe, you said, if she got out of prison tomorrow, would you feel comfortable with her sleeping in your house with you and your children? And I was like, fuck no. No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I definitely think that.
Oh, Grandma Green, yeah, that is absolutely horrible. And that did, yeah. What was that in BC that they found?
Yeah, that was Kamloops area, and I did want to touch on that because that's my dad lives in that area and was in prison for most of my life in Kamloops. So when I
That
seen that,
that happened all over Canada too. That wasn't just in that one isolated spot.
yeah.
I mean, even around here back then, natives were not treated well at all.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I didn't say he killed his family to protect his sister. I'm saying maybe he is keeping silent on the whole Nicole Kessinger situation being involved because he's worried about his sister and kids maybe getting hurt. Like, I could see him being more protective of his mom and dad and sister and nephews and nieces than NK, is what I'm saying. Like, that's why he won't. Because remember, he's already been charged and he's doing his time, but yet he still says that he is afraid of what did he say? The feds monitoring his calls and stuff. And he is still afraid to speak freely on what is going to be picked up from his calls and letters. So that they're like, just why? Why are you afraid? You're already pled guilty. You're already serving your time. Like, why wouldn't he, you know? Why is he worried about people hearing it more? Maybe because there's people all working in the establishment.
Who knows? All I know is there's no way someone could threaten me saying, we're going to kill your wife and kids, and if you don't go along with it, we're going to kill your entire family. I'd be like, you'd have to kill me first.
And I think that too. If anyone was going to come and kill Mr. Scherer and my kids, I'm dying too by trying to do everything I can to stopping this. Like, I would die too.
Mm-hmm.
They would have to kill me first. Good night, Tammy. Love you, sis. But there's so much. But the Watts family does believe there's more to the NK, and that goes along with why Cindy said, you know, I want you to fight this. You need to fight this. And that's why, because they don't believe their son would just do that. And I said, Cindy, I don't see that in him. If he did this, he didn't do it because he thought that was the best option. I fully believe that if he is guilty of, I don't care, killing 1, 2, or 3 people in his family, I don't think he came up with that plan by himself. And Cindy was like, no, no, absolutely not. Like, she cannot fathom that. She cannot wrap her head around that. I don't think she'll ever, ever, ever believe that.
Yeah. Well, how could you believe that of your child, that he was involved in planning? Yeah.
Well, you guys, we've gone over 2 hours, but I'm gonna I'm in planning with Christa to have her on and do a show with her, and because there's a lot more, like, I've seen things, and there's going to be some things maybe she can't speak on, but we're going to plan an interview with her on the show. She wanted to thank everyone for having her back, supporting her, and being willing to, like, give her a chance at her truth and her side of things. As you can imagine, she's got to take a few days and kind of get over this, but we're gonna get her on here, and I'm sure she'll want to go on Mr. Shares, and I think we'll in time, we're not going to be pushy or anything, but I think it's important to humanize the Watts and have them on Mr. Shares, either a recorded interview that he does with them that they get to okay first before he puts it out, or however it happens, but really, like, hear them, not just what
Yeah, not someone says
yeah,
they or
or
anything. Here,
here,
right
say
from.
this on a recording for me really quick, Ronnie, and then play that for you. That's not what we want. We want them to be heard.
Yeah, whatever they say.
Yeah, whatever it is. We're not asking that you have to believe what they say just because it's coming out of their mouth. That's okay, but they have the right to be heard. And I think it's actually good therapy for Cindy, because when I got to talk to her, I've talked to Cindy kind of twice now. It's mostly Ronnie and Jamie I talk to, but She's, every time I talk to her, she just is, you just want to scoop her up and hug her. You know, she just sounds so broken every time. And it really breaks my heart hearing her voice. Yeah, and then next time I'm live, I'll tell you what creators are trying to weasel their way back in. Who's really not talking to them. I'll tell you all that good stuff. No, that's okay, checking convictions. It's because the other documentary came out on Friday, it's a shit show again. So it's confusing. We get it.
It always will be, because
Mm-hmm.
no matter what, this case will never be fully put to rest. It's just one of those ones that will, yeah, and will go on forever.
Well, Jen, this isn't probably the platform that you would want to be on, because I'm definitely behind the Watts family. Not what Chris did, but behind Cindy, Jamie, and Ronnie and those family members. They didn't ask for this, just like the Ruzicks didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
And in the nicest way possible, I've seen the difference in how do you say this nicely? How the families act,
Yeah.
who's more vocal, who's not. And so I want to be able to, like, my promise to the Watts is never, I'm going to help you get your son out of prison. I want Chris out of prison. It's never that. In fact, I have straight up told them, I think your son is where he deserves to be,
Yeah.
because either way, they know this about me. They know my feelings. So they know that I'm just here to help them have their truths out. And at the same time, I've been learning that some things are lies. So if I can help combat the lies, because I've seen with my own two eyes proof, and not proof that when I'm asked, please don't show this, I'm not going to show it. As much as I know everyone wants to see the receipts, I have to respect that. And I also ask you guys to remember they have very, very little themselves to hold on to that's not plastered everywhere. So that's why I could go show some things and make a few dollars, sure, but I'm not going to do that to them.
Yeah. And on the other side of the coin, you don't need to support them, but on the other side of the coin, you don't have to support bashing them.
Right, exactly.
Like, did they say some not so nice things initially? Yeah. But consider where they were, like what state of mind they were in and what they were going through. And they thought Shanann may have killed their children. They're not going to say anything nice about her. But, that's neither here nor there. They're also looking in SAS, much more to come. Probably. Grandma Green, there probably will be. They probably will find more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's someone said, where did that go? I get to family, but Mary, I just invite you to understand, um in Cindy's mind, heart, and soul, Shanann killed those kids. And so when you hear that, and you already there are mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws that do not get along, that will never get along. There are mothers that their sons are their babies and no girl is ever good enough for them. And Cindy, she didn't like the treatment she saw her son. I think that's fair for Cindy, but she didn't say that meant that she deserved to get killed. Those words aren't coming out of her mouth. So all you're seeing is an interview that's very quickly after her being told the daughter-in-law that she already had past issues with killed her grandchildren, and now her son's in prison and a monster. Would you be very happy with the cameras in your face within just not long after this happening and being told that? I don't think so. I would have to say I think I'd be angry, I'd be confused, I'd be shocked. Like that's what she was. This poor woman was in shock and angry and confused, and everyone's judging her because of the remark she said. She was telling her truth, but people just twisted it because what did the media do? I'm sorry, but the media had already set out he was a monster. So what did they want to do? They had to make the Watts look bad. If you think the media doesn't manipulate, if there's probably 100 other clips they could have played that would have made Cindy look better, but do you think they did that? No. So I guess that's where I'll leave it. Mr. Cher will be live on his channel tomorrow night, probably around 7 Central. And what's that live movie, baby? The drama?
Yes, cracking drama, tiny victories. I'm going to keep that going on my channel.
Yeah, if you have any beef with anyone or you think to yourself, you know what, this is stupid. I don't even know this person like that. And you would like to hash it out, come on Mr. Cher's panel because it's a lot of people. There's been, like he says, tiny victories happening every week. So media's cutthroat. Absolutely. All right, you guys. Well, we're going to cut it off so I can spend some time with the mister before bedtime. Because he got to go to work tomorrow.
Yes, worky work.
Yeah. But thanks all for listening. Thank you so much for the members. Seth, you're awesome. And Super Cats, thank you. I love you guys. And we will see you tomorrow night. That was earlier.